I flew on South Africa's revived national airline on one of their 2 A330s. Despite all their financial troubles, this service is one of the best I've seen for domestic flights. Stick around to find out why. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be flying back to Johannesburg. For like the 3rd time, I know. But this time we'll be heading there on South African Airways and their A330. This is a repositioning flight for the A330 as it just came from Sao Paulo and we'll need to head back to Johannesburg, which is its base. Check-in took around 15 minutes and rather interestingly, our flight is being checked in the international section, which, needless to say, is rather weird for a domestic flight. With it being 6 o'clock in the morning, security took no time at all, and here is the airside area. The layout for the terminal is pretty much the same as in Johannesburg, so there's a few souvenir shops and convenience stores. Also, what's that noise? Anyway, with the sun coming up, let's do some plane spotting. You have a South African Airways A320 heading to Johannesburg, an Airlink E195 heading to Johannesburg, and 2 lifts, with one in the special Disney livery, both heading to Johannesburg. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this Johannesburg to Cape Town route is fairly popular around here. It's just a hunch. And here's our plane arriving 40 minutes late from Sao Paulo. You can see the special 90-year livery on the nose and we'll get a better view of her during boarding. Speaking of boarding, the plane is arriving in the international section of the terminal, which means that boarding will be done by bus. Boarding started around 30 minutes late and here's a nice view of our plane. As you saw, it's a fairly new A330, so that's reflected in the cabin. We'll have a look at the IFV a bit later on in the flight, and here's the legroom. It's really good. It's on par with some of the best I've had, which is a huge plus for a long haul flight.
Those exits might be behind you. Escape path markings on the floor will lead you to these exits. All emergency exits are indicated by exit lights. Please take a moment to make sure that you know where the exits are.
Cruising over the national parks east of Cape Town. The western part of this country is really so pretty, it's just a huge shame I only have 3 days here. And let's have a look at the contents of the seatback pocket, which includes the usual air sickness bag, safety card and in-flight magazine. But yeah, these 3 days in Cape Town is probably the highlight of my entire trip. I got very lucky with the weather, as you can see, and I most definitely am coming back, especially since I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do, which includes a cancelled trip to the Cape of Good Hope. Shortly after takeoff, the crew came around with breakfast. Yes, a hot meal is offered for this flight, which is just awesome. It's not like the ones given out in China either, because those are often very cheap and low in quality, but this one is like a proper long meal, which is, well, yeah, like what more can you ask for a domestic flight? It's great. Sadly, the scenery got boring really quickly after we passed the mountains, so let's have a look at the IFE as the final part of this review. First of all, I just want to mention how I absolutely hate these screens. I filmed this so many times, each with different angles, since for most of them you literally can't see anything except my face and the lights. As you can see, there's a decent selection of films at 76, a terrible selection of TV shows at 2, a map is also available, but you literally can't see anything with the reflection of light. But hey, at least get to see my mildly annoyed face as I do this for the first time.
Preparation for landing. If you have used your cabin baggage during the flight, please ensure that it is safely packed away either underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead storage compartment. Be careful when opening the overhead storage compartments, as some luggage may have shifted during the flight.
Welcome back to Johannesburg. Again, we arrived 20 minutes late, and here are my thoughts on the flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Johannesburg Tambo International Airport. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop, and we have switched off the seatbelt lights.
As you can see, a fairly nice flight with South African Airways. The cabin is fairly new with amazing legroom, the IFE is fast and responsive with decent content, and the catering is impeccable, especially for a domestic flight. All in all, no complaints really for me, except for the slight delay, but it's not too bad. I'd recommend them for long haul, although considering they only fly to Sao Paulo and Perth, it most likely isn't an option for most people.
All passengers with priority baggage, kindly be advised that your luggage will be removed from the belt and may be collected next to the carousel on the floor. We trust that you have enjoyed your flight with us today. We look forward to seeing you again. Wish you a proudly South African goodbye. Hambani kahle. .sense.
Walking to baggage reclaim. This is my third time covering Johannesburg. and it won't be my last either. All of my flights here in South Africa go to or from the airport, as it is the only major hub in the region. I'm not going to talk about it too much here, as I've already covered it in the channel. One thing I will mention, however, is the architecture. It's not flashy like Abu Dhabi or Jeddah, but it's fairly clean and modern, which I really do like. This part I didn't film before. This is the middle of the airport with the international terminal ahead of us and the domestic one behind. You can see international arrivals on the ground floor below. I'll end this video here. I've got a few hours here in Johannesburg before flying out on a brand new airline. That will be the next video in this series. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you there. Safe flying. Bye.